Wood Community College started the new year with a new president.
Brian Renfro says there are several challenges at the college, plus multiple projects at their facilities. WGEM's Charity Bell shares what he wants to accomplish in his new role. Charity.
Daniel and Mackenzie, I met with President Renfro today. He says the goal at John Wood is to help students achieve their hopes and dreams, and to do that, he wants to hear from the community about what more needs to be done at the college. Renfro says, like other community colleges across the nation, JWCC is facing several challenges like enrollment numbers after COVID-19, along with economic indicators with more jobs being available. He says students are focusing more on their short-term need than their long-term career aspirations.
The third one is meeting industry demands. Our business and industry are growing to meet their needs, and that's a challenge for us to grow and change and adapt and meet their needs as well, especially in the fields of technology because they're changing so fast. So I think it's imperative for us to be able to keep up the pace to meet the demands of business and industry, because that's how we connect those students with it.
Renfro says the most important things he's looking to do in his first 100 days is listen to the community and hear what it says the college needs, like improvements to programs. He says as he learns more about internal operations, he will also want to hear from external stakeholders and hold public forums. Charity Bell, WGEM News.
Okay, thank you so much, Charity. And Renfro says he also wants to celebrate the college's successes. He says they received a 10-year reaffirmation of accreditation from the Higher Learning Commission this week. And he says it is a monumental achievement that only happens every 10 years.